Hi, this is Sammie Smiles, and I'm your host, Sammie Vance. This podcast is sure to leave you inspired and with a smile. Now let's get right into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Sammie Smiles. I'm your host, Sammie Vance, and today we have Jordan Phillips with us today. She has started an organization, Cozy for the Cure products, at age 11, and she is now 16, I believe, and has helped people worldwide. And she does it. What she does is just so inspiring, and I thought she'd be perfect for my podcast when we actually met through the Prudential Power Spirit of Community Awards, and I felt like she would just be super good for my podcast. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thanks for letting me come and crash the show. I'm pretty pumped. So
yeah, thank you. So for the first question, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was 11, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And for me, that was a really difficult time in my life because I felt like I needed to do something to help. Like I had to jump into action. Yeah. And so I've been sewing since I was 5 years old. And so I decided that it would be fun to sew little coffee cup sleeves. And I actually have one here. And so it just like wraps around a coffee cup like this. And then it's a simple little project, but it kind of keeps your drink warm or your hands cool or whatever you need it to do. But the really cool part about it is that, I started sewing these to raise money for the Susan G. Komen Foundation, which is a charity that helps support breast cancer research and also people battling breast cancer. And so I started sewing those to raise money for the Komen Foundation. And the whole thing just kind of took off. I've been working on it for 6 years now, which is just absolutely incredible, like the coolest honor of my life to be able to keep this project going. But it started out as a little project. My goal was to raise $300. And then that kind of took off overnight and it became even bigger and bigger. And it turned into $5,000 and then $10,000. And now we've raised over $120,000 to date, which is really cool. So.
Congrats on that. That's amazing. Yes, I love that. And you said that you've been sewing since you were about 5 years old. So can you tell us a little bit about what actually got you into sewing?
Yeah, for sure. So I remember walking down the stairs Christmas morning when I was 5 years old, and there was this sewing machine under the tree, which I was like super psyched. I'm like, thanks, Santa. But I think most adults will be like, who would give their kid like a sewing machine with a giant needle attached to it for Christmas? But that's just how we roll in my house. And so I initially was like interested in it because I had seen I don't have anybody in my like immediate family that sews. But my friend's parents own a sewing machines shop. And so I'd like spend time in the shop and see the machines. And I didn't really know what they did, but I just thought they kind of looked fun to like learn how to sew on. And so when I was 5, I got the sewing machine and I learned some really basic skills from my mom and the people who own this shop. And then when I was in 3rd grade, I started getting into more professional lessons. And then since then, I've just kind of been doing lessons. And then now I'm the one teaching the lessons, which is kind of weird. It's a full circle moment. But now I just, I got into sewing because it's something that I love to do. It's a stress relief for me. Like today I was stressed out. And so I decided to go downstairs and sew a bucket hat. Like it's those kinds of like really random things that, just make sewing so special to me. And so that's why I think it was kind of the natural thing when I was creating my project to tap into that. So.
Yes, I think, okay, so I'm pretty sure I started sewing. I don't sew very much and I'm not good at it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool though. Anybody who like can even like knows what a sewing machine is. I'm like, yes, high five. We need more of you in the world.
Yeah, it's so cool. My mom actually has one around here too. And I remember the first thing that I sewed, it was a cape for my 2nd grade teacher because she did these like superhero days and she gave all of us kids capes. So I wanted to make her one. So that was the first sewing project that I did. And then I remember making like a puppet, a little, it was like a hand puppet at our public library with one of my best friends. And I remember doing that. And
oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it turned out interesting, but it was like, I'll have to try to find it later and insert a picture of it, but yeah.
For sure, I gotta see that. I mean, some of my early projects I look back on and I'm like, holy cow, yeah, this was probably not my best idea in the world, but I absolutely love sewing, like anything, make anything, and
Yeah, what was your what's the first thing that sorry, what's the first thing that you remember sewing?
So one thing that's funny is I was not trusted with fabric initially. And so I was given pieces of paper to sew on. So like that's like my start of sewing. It's like I remember like learning how to stitch a straight line on a piece of paper. Um, but my first like big project, well, my first project ever, I remember I would make like these little pillows and I would just like
Mm-hmm.
take two squares, sew around the edge, stuff them with some stuffing, and you're good to go. Um, but my first ever like big project, I made a little quilt when I was like probably like 8, and I have a picture with that. I'll find it somewhere, I'll dig it up, but it's really sweet because it's like this fleece quilt and it's just like 4 blocks. It's like a 4 by 4 block quilt, and I just like am standing there and I'm so excited about it and I'm so proud of it. And so I think like I look back on that quilt and I'm like, man, I need to like find that somewhere. I'm sure it's sitting around somewhere, but it's like,
Yeah.
hey, it doesn't matter what you create as long as you're, pouring your heart and soul into it and you have a passion for it. It's pretty fun. So
Right, yeah, and it's a big accomplishment too. That's really cool. I have a quote that I think, or a quilt. Did I say quote? I have a quilt that I think my great grandma made. My great grandma, she was really into sewing, and she could do so many different cool things. And I remember her making like Barbie clothes for my mom, and then she gave them to me, and like American Girl doll clothes. So yeah,
oh, that warms my heart.
yeah, that was cool. And yeah, I just absolutely love what you do and think it's going for an amazing cause. So, um, what are some maybe future plans, or what do you hope in the future for what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a question right now that I really have to like grapple with because I'm going into my senior year of high school. And so it's like a little scary because I'm like, man, like there are so many things to like look down the barrel at the future at and like try
Mhm.
to figure out. But as far as like future plans for Cozies for the Cure, like long term, I definitely want to keep the project going. I'm not sure exactly how that looks yet, but I'm just really excited to, this is a project that for me like really hits close to home because my community came around and supported me during this really
Mhm.
difficult time in my life. And so it's a cool way to give back. But in like the immediate future, one thing that I really am excited about, especially as the world is starting to like reopen, is having more in-person events. My cross-country team, once for a community service project, we all got together and sewed cozies to like
I love
donate and
that.
stuff
Oh
like
my
that,
goodness.
which was so cool. And so I love being able to make those like in-person connections with people. And
Mhm.
like Cozies for the Cure, the thing that's really cool about it is that it's for everyone. Like, this is not like you can probably look at it and figure out how to make it, and that's the point because it allows you to really create this community around this idea, with the goal of ending breast cancer. And so I'm excited to kind of take the project out more into the real world now, and be able to have large groups of people who are gathering around this
Mhm.
cause, which I think is pretty cool and really hits close home for me. So
Yeah, I think that is so cool because we have different goals for both of our projects. I do Sammy's Buddy Bench project, and you do yours. And even though we have different goals, our projects can relate on so many different levels, which I find that really cool and exciting in a way. So we actually met through the Prudential Power Spirit Community Award. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but that's when I first got introduced to what you do. Can you tell us a little bit about what's it like for you to win awards?
so one thing that's like it whenever I win like an award like the Prudential Award, I'm just like it makes me take a step back and like just take a deep breath and really savor the moment because for me, it's incredible. Like you don't it's one of those things that you don't expect to happen, and like never in my wildest dreams would I have like pictured that. But I actually connected with the Spirit of Community Awards initially because my teacher sent me an email and just kind of passed it on, and he was like, hey, I really think that this would be a cool project to like, or this would be a cool thing to submit your project to and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, like, I get called down to the principal's office and I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And they're like, no, you won. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And so it's like when like an award like that just like kind of makes you go like, wow, like this is
Mhm.
really cool. But at the same time, like the thing that I really think that's cool about it is that for me, like I'm I'm just a normal kid. Like the kids that I got to meet at Prudential, like were all just normal kids who had a passion for something that was like really strong, and they latched onto it and they were committed to making the world a better place. And so it's like, wow, the fact that like, you know, you can be walking down the hallway of school and like the person standing next to you can do something like that. Like, it just really gives me a lot of hope for the future. And I'm like, wow, like, hey, you know what? If I can do it, I think pretty much anyone can do it. And so it's really neat. And it really just makes my heart happy for the future and really makes me excited because, you know, people out there are doing really cool things. And so being able to like get into this pool of people and on Zoom calls with people who are doing really cool things, like it really fills me up, and it really helps me to just realize how much good there is to celebrate in the world. So
Yeah, I love that. And I find that really inspiring too. I've gotten called down to the principal office a few times too and been like, oh no, I'm getting in trouble. But then it ends up being
yep.
good news. And a lot of times actually they give me caps. They'll be like, oh, can I Sammie Vance down to the principal's office? And they just give me caps, bottle caps.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble. And they just give me that. And I'm like, relief.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember the day that the prudential people came. It was our actual principal. And I go to a school of like, I live in a small town in South Dakota, but our school is fairly large. I go to school of 1,400 kids, and he knocks on the door, and like the principal, like you don't see him. He just like, it's kind of, you know, like you see him, but there's so many kids and there's so many things going on. So he knocks on the door and he's like, can I have Jordan, please? And I like get up, and the entire class, I just see the eyeballs like following me across the room as I'm walking out. And then it was awesome because then I got out of class for like half an hour. I was like, sweet. But
that happened to me multiple times as well. And it's like, yeah, it's a little bit almost scary at first, and then you're relieved, and then it turns really exciting because it's really good news. So yeah, congratulations on winning that, and everything else and everything you accomplished. So before we get on to the rapid fire round, do you have anything else you would like to share about what you do?
You know, I just think one thing that like I really wanted to highlight, especially because like this is your podcast and you and I have projects and like really are driven by the same thing, is that one of my favorite parts of the Cozies is being able to connect with people who like, you know, are like you, and getting able to like meet other kids and things like that. Like for me, that's really cool because I get the questions a lot of times of people who are like, oh my gosh, like how do you do it all? And I'm like, okay, well, it's not nearly that dramatic. Like this is my life. This is how I roll. And so being able to like talk with you, and it's just absolutely so cool to me to be able to be like, wow, there's somebody out there who like I can really connect with and like share such a really cool story with, and have our paths cross like this. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's my favorite part. I love meeting new people as well and being able to like connect with them. I think that's really cool. But yeah, if you're ready for the rapid fire round, then I am.
Yeah, let's go for it. I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, so I'll just ask you a few questions and you can answer with the first thing that comes to mind. So, for the first one, what's your favorite food?
Ooh, pizza. Jack's Pizza.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, good answer. Favorite color?
Yellow, but it kind of depends on the day.
Oh my goodness, same. I like teal and aqua, but I like different color combinations on different days.
Yeah. Like today I was feeling this color combination for a shirt, which is like pink. I'm like, yes, let's go for it. But like some days I'm just like in a blue mood. It really just depends. So
yeah, I like that shirt, by the way. So
thank you.
Favorite animal?
Ooh, my dog Dakota.
Oh, that's cute. Favorite dessert?
Ice cream. Anything ice cream. My brother works at Dairy Queen, so he has like the good like hookup with the good ice cream, and then he'll like throw extra toppings in it, and it's pretty good.
That's very lucky. Are you more of a cat or dog person?
Dog person.
Would you rather be able to speak to all animals or be able to speak every language?
Ooh, probably speak every language. My grandma speaks a couple of different languages, and I'm learning Spanish right now, and it's so cool to be able to talk to her in Spanish. And then my mom will sit there and be like, what are you talking about? So
yeah, I've like been trying to learn Spanish, and then I get like off topic a lot of the time, so then I'll like get sidetracked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still trying to learn Spanish, and I think I love learning different languages because it's really cool in many different ways. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, See, I would like to think that it would be like invisibility because I'm like kind of a snoop and I like to, see what other people are doing. But probably teleportation because I always feel like I waste so much time driving around from spot to spot.
Yeah, I know. I've always like loved the thought of both the invisibility and teleportation. I feel like that could be really cool. Just like, you know,
Exactly.
be
Then I
one
can
place, go to
teleport and do
another.
a podcast with you in person. That would be so
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be cool for everyone to have. That would just that would change the world for the better, I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like.
for sure.
Where can people find you on social media to follow your amazing journey?
Yeah, so I have Facebook and Instagram. It's Cozies for the Cure is our handle. So it's spelled COZYS for the cure. And then you can also find me at our website, which is coziesforthecure.com.
Okay, thank you for that. Make sure to follow her and her amazing journey. And for the last question that I ask all my guests, what is something that makes you smile?
Oh, something that makes me smile. See, that's hard because it's like it's hard to narrow it down to just one.
Mhm.
Um, I would say probably like getting to meet people who are as excited about something as I am. Like for me, that's kind of rare because I get very excited about things. And so to have somebody who like has that same like passion for something really just gets me. That makes me smile. So
Yeah, I love that. And I agree with that as well. So thank you so much for being here today. And thanks everyone for listening to this. Remember that you don't just have to be an adult to make a difference. You could be a kid too. I hope you have a great day. Bye.